there, it's Martin Magic Moon here. So in this video I thought I would talk a little bit about the Pleiades and Pleiadians. So here we go. The Pleiades is a constellation within Taurus. There are over 800 stars in the full Pleiades constellation. We generally concentrate on the 9 brightest ones. They are Atlas, Pleione, Alcyone, Merope, Electra, Taygeta, Selene and Astrope. Now, they're given their names as in the Greek mythology. Atlas was the son of Zeus that had 7 daughters with the sea nymph Pleione. So some of them are bigger systems than others. Atlas itself is a triple star system. Pleione is a double star system. Electra is a double star system. Taygeta is a double star system. And Astrope is a double star system. That means there's the big star. Most of the stars in Pleiades are giant white blue stars, but they generally have a smaller yellow dwarf or red dwarf or white dwarf with them. And with Atlas and Alcyone, there is another one as well. So as you know, or may not know, there is lots of life there. Every one of those 9 planets has at least one planet with interstellar galactic travel and capability. Some have 2, 3, even 4. So they are very technological and they know a lot more than we do about a lot of things. So I know more about Electra, Taygeta and Alcyone. But there is a very beautiful planet on Merope that I've seen like pictures of and visions, and that it is just amazingly beautiful. I've spoke to 1 or 2 people that have lived lives on Merope, and they said like it is amazingly beautiful, like I've seen. Most of what we know is generally about the Taygetans. They're the ones that seem to have had more contact with us and seem to be a bit more open. But other parts of the Pleiades have had contact. Alcyone, for one. Some people do say there was a bit of a negative influence around Alcyone at some point. I believe this to maybe possibly be true, but as there are 3 stars around Alcyone, there are a good few planets that have life. Some say it's to do with 12th dimensional Pleiadians that maybe evolved too quickly. But Alcyone is generally a decent system from what I know. I have been to a place on Alcyone. There is a planet called Primera. It may be pronounced slightly different, or slightly different wording, but I'm sort of get the pronunciation of Primera. And I was taken there. It seemed a bit of a cloudy day actually when I was there, and it was like a small city, big town, small city. Beautiful white and sort of light bluish kind of buildings, sort of made of stone, like marble and quartz. So they have this sort of galactic library there, and it has literally all the information there is on this galaxy. Anyone can find anything. And I was taken there by my Pleiadian guide, and I was shown a map of the universe and how it is, and I was told some more like information about where certain things are, and it was just amazing. It's like this map covered the whole ceiling, and I was asking questions and things, and that was on Alcyone. I've been to Electra as well. There's a planet, I think, I'm not sure the pronunciation, it's called Alone or Alion. I could be a little bit wrong in that, but that's what I got. Now, in another life of mine where I did live on the Pleiades, I did help people on a planet on Electra. Beautiful mountains there, but it was cold, like lots of snow. I don't know if it's their winter time. I saw it was generally a cool planet, but I helped people relocate there for a reason that maybe I'll talk about in another video. But I seen part of my life there, and part of it was on Electra. I've not really spoke to anyone that has had any past lives or memories of the Electra system. So if anyone does, let me know. I know a little bit about Tegeta as well. I've been to Dakota, is a planet on Tegeta, and I've flew past Era. Era has some beautiful mountains. Absolutely beautiful. It's very green, very beautiful planet, very spacious. They're not heavily populated. A lot of the Pleiadian planets are nowhere near as populated as we are. I think there is the whole debate of, are we overpopulated, and are people trying to get rid of the population? It's possible. I believe myself that we are meant to have more space than we do. And on the Pleiades, from what I have seen, they have lots of space. They don't have big cities. It's more like small towns. Like everywhere's like small towns and lots of community. They have lots of community. Everyone sort of helps him with everything. So what do Pleiadians look like? Do they just look like us, or do they look like weird green aliens that are made of jelly? Well, they do look humanoid from my experience. Some of them could pass for Earth humans. They are generally a bit taller. Definitely, a lot of the Pleiadian men are well over, say, 6'5", almost near 7 foot. Some of them. The women a little bit shorter, sort of around 6 foot. And do they all have light skin with blonde hair? No, they don't. Some do, and it's a trait of some Pleiadians: the light skin, the light hair, the purpley eyes. But there are Pleiadians with black hair, slightly darker skin. Some are a little shorter as well. There's even taller ones than that. So they do vary. They don't all look the same. They do look kind of humanoid. Generally, from what I've seen, they are slimmer built, very athletic, and their physical anatomy, insides their organs are slightly different to ours. Their ears are possibly slightly pointed even, but not like great big elf type pointy ears, and some of their like facial features are slightly different. But they could quite easily, some of them, pass for Earth humans. So are they good? Are they bad? Generally, my experience with Pleiadians, they are very good. Many of the Pleiadian races are about loving, kindness, giving, knowledge, a lot of the things that we on this world need to be striving for. and they wish they could help us more. Most Palladian, a lot of the Palladian planets with the galactic capability are part of the Galactic Federation, and I believe that just like Star Trek, it exists, and maybe one day Earth will be part of that, but we have a long way to go, and I believe that we do need a little bit of help from good races on the Pleiades. There are other races on the Pleiades that maybe we're not a bit sure of. I've heard there's even a hybrid reptilian race out there, but there are 800 stars. So that is a lot of life. Also within the constellation of Taurus, there is Hades. Now there's 100 stars in the Hades system, and I know that one or two of the planets there consider themselves, if not fully Palladian, sort of Palladian or with Palladian ancestry. There's a few like warrior planets there, like they're always ready for action. If there's battles, they're there. Generally, they're okay from what I've. They're not a hostile race, but they will stick up for themselves, like many Pleiades. The Pleiadians themselves, they are, from what I know, good races, but they do have technology that we would just dream about. So they are able to protect their planets and themselves, but they don't seem to worry too much about that. They want to gain knowledge and want to give themselves, give love and peace and happiness. A lot of people say they don't have emotions. Now, their emotions are possibly different to ours. Like, they don't seem, from my experience, they don't have a lot of fear. And a lot of the negative emotions, but they can get sad. They can get, things do happen, and they are not robots, so they do have emotions as well. But a lot of Earth human emotions are quite negative, and they seem to not have some of them, but they are emotional. Maybe some more than others, but we just see them as very different. So how do they live on the Pleiades? Are they third dimensional, fourth dimensional? There are some, I've heard, third dimensional planets out there. I don't think there is any on the 9 major brightest stars that we see. I could be wrong. I've not had that information. I've not seen them on my travels. But there are many, many stars out there. A lot of the Pleiades are 5th dimensional, 6, going up even higher. And when you get to like 7th dimension, you can even choose whether you want a physical body all the time or not. I mean, that would just be amazing. Most of the experience I've had with Pleiades, they tend to be generally 5th, possibly 4th. They've never said to me that they are this dimension or that dimension. I don't think they really class themselves as a dimension, but they do work a lot on their spirituality, a lot on their sort of mental well-being. They don't really care for like greed and power and money like we do here, and that's what they can believe that we need help with a lot on this planet, to be more like that way of thinking. So they do live in totally different lives to what we live, but they can relate to us. They are sort of third cousins or second cousins in that way. They are sort of humanoid, going back many, many years. The Pleiadians themselves had their roots back in the Lyra system. Now, there was some great wars in the Lyra system. Planets were destroyed, blown up, sent out of orbit, and many of them, they did have, galactic capability even then. So they looked for a new home. It took them 100 years, 1,000 years possibly, I've heard, many, many years to find the actual Pleiades, because the Pleiades is a long way from the Lyra system, and they were chased out by the reptilians, and they have had issues with reptilians still, but obviously I think now many Pleiadian planets don't get them sort of issues with reptilians. Reptilians tend to be more in the fourth dimension, and when you're a higher dimension and have some technology, they tend not to bother you too much, from my knowledge, that is. Also, in the constellation of Taurus, you have Aldebaran. Now, Aldebaran is much nearer to Earth, only 40, 50 light years away. Now, there is definitely 2 inhabited planets I know of in Aldebaran, and they have some roots in the Pleiades as well. So some people say that the Aldebarans are not that great. I don't know. I've not had contact with them, but they do have some sort of Pleiadian roots, because they spread out quite a way and after the Lyran Wars. And a lot of Pleiadians generally know a bit about the Lyran Wars, which I can make another video on. I was there at some point in another life. So I do have contacts in the Pleiades. I've been on a Pleiadian ship. It was quite amazing. I'll do a short video on that. My contact seems to be based a little bit around Electra and Alcyone. I have another contact that is based around Taygeta. She's actually not a very light-skinned Pleiadian. She is slightly darker with black hair. But she was actually the first one to actually talk to me of the Pleiadians. So I still have some contact with her right now. So are the Pleiadians going to help us? They have been here many, many times on Earth. They have been told by Earth governments, we don't want your help, because there's certain things that they would like, disarmament of nuclear weapons. Obviously, they want the ruling elite to be disbanded as well. But they could clean this planet up within a month. They have amazing technology. So they have been turned away by governments many times recently. So, but they will help. They're waiting there for people to wake up. They will be one of the races that, when things change in this world, they will be one of the races that we're introduced to. People are saying now there is a lot more coming out of disclosure. Israel recently, one of the Israel security ministers has totally admitted to aliens. Russia as well. Russia are quite open that they do exist. I think people are waiting for, NASA or the European Space Agency to disclose stuff, but obviously they're only going to say certain things, but there is so much more life out there, and a lot of them are great loving races, just like many of the Pleiadians out there. So that's it for now. I just thought I would talk a little bit about a little bit of what I know about the Pleiades, and I will talk about my guides from there and my experience of being there another time. So until next time, I have to say to you all, blessings of love and bright golden starlight.